When there's protests in Africa, everybody, the whole world knows. But when there's protests in Europe, it's like a secret. Nobody is supposed to know. Welcome to Tunacheki's Africa React. I'm your host, Meki Mushi, and this is a show where we go online and react to viral videos concerning the African continent. So today we'll be doing a bit of different kind of reaction where the international media, CNN, BBC, DW, Fox News, is reacting to the protests that are going on in Africa, majority of them peaceful, while ignoring the violent protests going on in Europe, especially in France, okay? So we will do a double standard. So instead of reacting to the peaceful protests in Africa, we will show you guys the violent protests in Paris that are currently going on. And even we will censor it because we want this video to be monetized, okay? So we will just show you the PG version, but just know what we show you is just like a PG version, and the actual violence going on in Paris, the protests against Macron, is, believe me, unbelievable. Before we continue, please make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. It's the best way to show YouTube this is a good video, and you'll recommend it to more like-minded people like you. So without further ado, let's check out the not African protests, but the Paris and France very violent protests, okay? Okay, that's just some of the protests going on in Paris and in Europe, okay? So let's discuss. Let me give you a bit of background. So for African countries, Kenya, South Africa, Tunisia, and Nigeria decided it will be a protest day to protest the hardships in the country and the current problems they're having in the country. So this is ironic because this is just today, and the whole Western media has been covering these mostly peaceful protests like it's like the end of the world, while the Paris protests that you've just seen have been going on for weeks, right? This currently that you've seen has been going on for weeks, not just days, not just today, but for weeks. And the international media totally is ignoring it. How many of you knew there was even protests in Paris, like violent, crazy protests in Paris, right? So this is a kind of double standards that we are really sick of as Africans, and those people who in Western media should really be ashamed and sick to the bone for how they portray Africa. Like with the protesters, we are the violent one. No, believe me, the protests in France and in Paris are violent, like deadly violent, okay? And then the police reaction to these protests have been violent, deadly, and see how these Europeans, these free Westerners treat their people democracy. Man, they're beating these kids up like animals, right? Come on. So this has been our quick Africa React to the double standards when there's protests in Africa. Everybody, the whole world knows, but when there's protests in Europe, it's like a secret. Nobody is supposed to know. Europe is civilized. People don't protest. The police do not commit violence to the people. Come on, total violence, and it's being censored by the mainstream media, by the corporate media, by this state-controlled media. Okay. So with that said, this has been Mekimushi from Tunachiki, and always remember, Africa is watching.
Mambo.